Hey, this is Sydney Quiseng, and you're listening to Music Existence.
Welcome to another instance of music existence where, because of music, we exist. My guest today is Sydney Quiseng, who experienced a whirlwind of success from many years fronting her band Echosmith. And these days, she's continuing her solo output with a new EP coming out called That's My Baby. The cool thing about this is the title of the EP actually alludes to something very special happening very shortly after this album's release. She is actually having a baby, and the album is coming out Friday, February 20th. So let's give a heartfelt congratulations and a warm welcome to our guest, front women of Echosmith, solo songstress, meat stick aficionado, and indeed mom to be, Sydney Keesing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That's quite the intro. I do love a meat stick.
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing it in one of your reels, but anyway, so excited to meet you. You had a great story, a great run with Echosmith, and like I said, your success with them continues. And you know, let's take it back to the beginning. So, Echosmith, the roots of it started in 2009, is that right?
We actually started in 2006. I don't know why our
Yeah,
Wikipedia says the
2006.
wrong
Oh yeah,
year, but
2006.
it's okay. I guess I could go change it or someone could change
Yeah.
it since it's Wikipedia. But we did start in 2006. So I was 9 when we started, and now
Wow.
I'm 28. I'll be 29 this year, though. So we're about to hit 20 years as a band this year.
20 years. Wow. Yeah, I was kind of because I saw the 9 and the 6, I was like, they heading up like right to 20 years now, but like it's really interesting. So, when you started out, of course, Jamie was still in the band. It was you and your three brothers, and of course your dad was, getting you into music. So there's a lot of 80s kind of tied into that. I know that, when I saw Echo Smith, I was thinking of Echo and the Bunnymen and the Smiths. So, like, when you and your siblings were getting together, were you kind of protective of like your influences, or did you kind of find a sound that you can all agree upon and like wanted to like bring into this project? Like, yes, this sounds like really good. This fits all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with a lot of trial and error when you're in a band. So you're just really trying a lot of stuff, and you have these influences that, for us, it was natural to have a lot of the same influences because we grew up in the same house. So there was a lot of commonality there, anyways. So we did listen to a lot of 80s new wave that our dad introduced us to. And honestly, my older brothers, really kind of discovered that in their own way as well. So it was something that they naturally were gravitating towards. And I was never in control of the radio or anything like that. So I just listened to what my brothers listened to and loved it no matter what. So it actually was very natural for us to go down the path of this sort of indie pop that has a alternative and 80s flair to it. And you just figure out your sound as you go. You just really get to keep making music, and you make a song that is more in the right direction, and you're all kind of like, okay, this feels really great, let's keep going that way. And then eventually, before you know it, you have the sound that you want to make for even just this album, because of course you evolve over time too. So it was really fun to find our sound in the beginning. We had a lot of different sounding songs in the early days, but again, I was only 9, so we were much younger in the beginning, and I'm glad that we had several years to really hone that in and make it much cooler than it started.
Yeah, I mean, you got signed in like 2012, and then 2013 was Talking Dreams. And like when that came out, that was like the transition away from garage pop, away from emo to this more like kind of indie pop. Indie pop was really finding its stride. You had like stuff like you know, MGMT and Foster the People coming out,
Yeah.
and you guys kind of like found yourselves in the middle of it. And I mean, when Cool Kids took off, it really took off in the biggest way because it was popular for like two whole years. Like you're lucky if a song gets popular in for like 6 months and then kind of dips a little bit, but the momentum was sustained. Like, how
Yeah.
did you guys kind of like control that or find some breathing room while that was going on?
Yeah, there wasn't much breathing room, and we all were, ready for some time at home after the several years of being on the road pretty much almost every day of the year for a
Yeah.
while there. So we had a lot of fun and we just kept saying yes to everything that came up. And that meant that we got to have some really cool experiences and make a lot of really fun memories all over the world together. And then at the end of, that touring cycle, which was quite long, like you just said, we were very grateful to have some time at home to just sort of relax and do a little bit of normal life before jumping into working on new music. But it was really fun to just see what happened if you just said yes and went for it. And I am really grateful for all those memories because it was pretty much us being on the road from 2013 till the end of 2015 straight, which was a good long time and really so many fun times that we had as a family.
Yeah, and like I'd imagine, like it was a lot of growth, a lot of processing, obviously, and like diverse fan base too. You got like the Nickelodeon crowd, and then you got like just people. Of course, you got your critics who were like, "Oh, this is very like on the nose, made for TV drama sort of music." But I thought it was pretty cool because it was kind of like, of course, you had that dark sort of like reverb sort of sound, but very kind of cheery kind of songs. And then, like, when you get to Inside a Dream, that's like more kind of looking inward, kind of internalizing all the kind of asymmetrical kind of fragments and processing them and just kind of moving forward, like finding that breathing room in a sense.
Yeah, no, it was fun to work on new music after that, and that also came with a lot of trial and error, and it was a very long process working on that new music because there was a lot of just different politics going on with the label we were at and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up spending a lot of time making our second album. So Inside a Dream is the EP that came out sort of in between the first and second album,
Yeah.
and it was originally supposed to be a full length album. And then we went back in the studio and made what ended up being our second album. So yeah, it was fun to, do some different things and even just have fun with styling and working with some different creatives along the way in that season. And again, we got to live a lot of real life at home during that time too, which made that time really special as well.
By 2020, that's when you did Lonely Generation, and like you really, because of all the COVID time that you had, you really tapped into like your 80s kind of um kind of headspace. Now, was that kind of intentional, or did that like kind of take on a life of its own and it sort of landed on that sound?
I mean, it just sort of happened. It was not necessarily intentional, but like I said, we grew up listening to lots of, great 80s new wave, and that still had influenced us along with the Killers and Coldplay and, their early albums especially really influenced our band from the beginning. So a lot of our influences kind of stayed the same, but we also, were listening to a lot of Empire of the Sun at the time and, some other cool bands like Portugal the Man and different things. So it was fun to just make an album that we felt really excited about. And then, of course, we put it out right before COVID hit. So
Oh,
we
right
had,
before. Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
it came out in January of 2020. So it was very ironic that we put out an album called Lonely Generation right before we were all completely isolated.
But yeah, right before
Yeah,
you actually became a lonely generation. And of course,
definitely.
you had a song called Last Forever, and it really sort of makes sense when you like put that in a COVID perspective. Like all of that had to like stand off while this whole thing was going on, and you didn't know like when you were going to gain back your freedom, you know?
Right. No, it definitely was an interesting time. And, we had tours planned and a lot of plans for that year that we obviously didn't get to do to promote that album and be out there with everyone. So it was an interesting sort of U-turn, I guess, where we were able to do some virtual shows and we made the most out of it for sure. But we then were like, okay, I guess we should work on new music here soon. We sort of didn't know where things were at and when we could play shows again and what that would look like. And it was all very unknown. But we did put out music right before. So I guess people had music to kind of consume and listen to during that time, which was nice because a lot of people had to, take a break or do it differently pretty quickly, but we went into that season with a full length album, which was crazy.
Yeah, and when I hear your self-titled album, it's a lot more minimal. It's a lot more low key, a lot of like like kind of down-tuned. And one song that really stuck out to me was Brother Sister. Now, is that you and Noah doing a duet?
Yes, so it's me and Noah doing a duet, and we actually wrote that song literally 100 miles away from each other, and that is mentioned in one of the lyrics. But I was living in San Diego, and he was living in LA still, where we grew up, and we were writing this song back and forth, where he wrote a verse, he sent it to me, and then I wrote a verse and sent it back. So it was really cool to keep that conversational duet feel in the song with the final recording because that's exactly how the song started. And that's just a glimpse into what our relationship is. We're all very close and we're really open and honest with each other, which allows for us to write really honest songs because we know each other and we do life together. So that song is a great glimpse into just what our friendship looks like.
Wow. Was it like, did it get to a point where it was actually tested, given like all that distance, all your success, and like you felt like you weren't able to get back into the groove, get back on the same page with each other, but then it all just sort of worked out?
I mean, we have pretty much remained close the whole time. Of course, you have times where you disagree or you aren't on the same page because that's going to happen with family or band members or just people you work with. But I think that it's been really cool that we've been able to stay close pretty much the whole time and do life together throughout all the changes in our career and our personal lives. Because now Noah is a dad and we're all adults now and our older brother Jamie is also a dad, and I'm about to become a mom. So we got married along the way. So it's really cool to see how our family is first, and that is something that we've really focused on, especially in the past couple years. And then the fact that we get to make music together is just such a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this EP, you branch off into a country Americana sound. And of course, you talk about family, emphasizing that really at a time when the roles kind of for women are kind of reversed. They're kind of straying away from family and more like self-empowerment. Do you feel like kind of alien in that aspect, or is it just like this is me and I'm going my own way? I'm taking charge and I'm making the rules.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own path, and I do believe that, if you want to do something differently, then you should go for it because it's your life. But for
Hmm.
me, I do feel very strongly about wanting to become a mother. I mean, we're stepping into this season very, very excited, my husband and I. And this is something
Hmm.
that I've wanted for basically as long as I can remember. Ever since I was little, I used to just think about, oh my gosh, it'll be so fun to be a mom one day and have kids. And, I have been a very family focused person my whole life. So for me, this is really natural. And yeah, it goes against the grain of what some other people do, which is totally fine. But I see this as an opportunity for me to maybe show some people out there who want to have a family and start a family one day that you don't always have to choose. I think we sometimes feel like you have to choose between career and motherhood. And there might be a time where things look different and I need to readdress it and figure it out from there. And I'm staying very open to what music looks like while having a baby. But so far, it's been really fun to experience this pregnancy and share the journey through my music with my fans and anybody who comes across my videos. And hopefully, it can just be encouraging to them that you can still absolutely be creative. And this has really sparked more creativity in my life as opposed to taken away from it. I've been more creative than ever. So it's been really cool to do both and just really see what happens. And I'm excited to keep experiencing that as my world opens up when my baby is born. And of course, I'll take time off to be present and be there with my little girl. But when I'm back at it, I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yeah, and you mentioned a really good point, adjusting your career. A lot of people, as I understand, they said like, no, like having a child is going to end your career. It's impossible to maintain. But no, you just adjust it. It might look different. It might be in a way that a lot of people would outright dismiss because they're not in your shoes. But this is a time when, you're not really rushed to have like a platinum album. Like you can just go at your own pace. And at the same time, it's like you mentioned also your aspiration to become a mother, whereas a lot of people think it's a expectation rather than an aspiration, like something that's
Right.
foisted upon them to like you have to do this. And no, you don't. But you're doing what's available to you. And like I said, you're like reclaiming yourself, especially at the age you are now. You're like really, you're taking the reins, you know?
For sure. And, that is something to remember is that, people are going to give you advice and they're going to speak into your life and tell you things. And they could be someone that you don't even know, or they've never even met you. It could just be someone online, or it could be someone you're talking to in passing, or they don't know you that well, or it could be someone very close to you trying to tell you what to do. But at the end of the day, this is your life and you get to choose what direction you're going in. And I think that's a really cool thing. I think it's really amazing to have that freedom. And, me really putting aside what maybe other people had said along the way really helped me step into this with so much excitement as opposed to so much fear and wondering what's going to happen. Because at the end of the day, I decided once I found out I was pregnant that I wanted to make a whole project about it. So I went and did it. And here we are. Of course, I'm about to give birth in 2 weeks or less. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty tired and it looks a little different promoting this EP, but it's been really fun. And I've been able to just really prepare things ahead of time and really think about how I wanted to roll this out alongside jumping into something so brand new. So it's just a great reminder that life is so much about choice and you get to choose what it looks like. And then again, if it is feeling not great or something, you can always change. And that's something that we talk about all the time is that you can always adjust and redirect things if it's not working or if the balance is a little bit off, you can always adjust it. So I'm having a lot of fun right now. And again, I'm curious to see how it all feels, but I have every intention of getting back in the studio when I'm ready and writing and recording and playing shows and bringing my baby along with me. We tour with my
Nice.
mom as our tour manager. So I know she can hold the baby with little headphones on when we're playing shows. So I'm really excited to see how much more fun this is going to be with a baby.
So is the baby a boy or a girl, do you know?
It's a girl.
Oh, it's a girl. Oh,
Yeah.
little
So we're
Sydney.
super excited.
Yeah. So like going to your new EP, you have the preview tracks out now. And it's That's My Baby. And it has a double meaning because it's all about kind of what you prioritize more now that you've matured in your relationships. Of course, you met and married Cameron, and what I notice about Cameron is he's not afraid to give like full smiles. He has like a big smile. Was his
Yeah,
smile like the
totally.
first thing that drew you into him?
That's a great point. I mean, I love his smile, but he has really green eyes.
Okay.
And I feel like that was a big thing that drew me to him. And it's funny because actually, my two brothers who are married, they also married people with green eyes. So, ironically, we were actually writing songs for our first album that my brother was inspired by his girlfriend, who's now his wife at the time, who had green eyes. And then I'm singing these lyrics about green eyes from Talking Dreams. And then I end up marrying someone with green eyes, and my other brother marries someone with green eyes. So it's become this kind of funny theme and something that I still am writing about. I still will throw a lyric in there about his green eyes because that is one of the first things that I noticed. And I guess it's been pretty common in our family to marry someone with green eyes.
Yeah, but That's My Baby also has an important message in, and that's your mutual kind of appreciation for each other. And it's
Yeah,
not it it yeah, it's the physical, it's the sensation, but it's also you announce that, he has a heart of gold. It's not like here's this mythical creature. He might be, he's just an ordinary guy who happens to be like in the position he's in. But the most important thing that draws you in, aside from his green eyes, is his heart of gold.
right. Yeah, and it's really amazing to do life with someone that you adore so much. So I just feel super blessed to have him in my life in such a gigantic way, and to be doing all this stuff together means so much more, whether we're choosing to have a baby or we're making a house a home together, or we're on just a little trip, or we're just on a walk in a neighborhood. We just love getting to do life together, and I couldn't choose anybody better to be the father of my children, and I'm just so excited to do this alongside him. So it's fun. I've written about him so much. He is the inspiration of many of my songs, and we laugh because I'll show him a song. I'll be like, "Hey, I wrote this song about you," and he's like, "You always write songs about me."
Yeah.
I can't even do it as a Christmas gift anymore because all my songs are about him, or
All
they're
these
about
songs
my
are gifts
miscellaneous
in
thoughts.
essence, right?
Exactly. So it's cool that That's My Baby is literally about the love that I have for him and the love that I have for my baby already, and the excitement that I feel about this next phase.
And then Coffee Shop in Kyoto is about like appreciating just the little things.
Yeah,
Like, he likes the way you say epitome, or like just certain words like sound like they sound good off the tongue, and you look forward to that. You look forward to just being surrounded by that warmth that you give each other, much like
totally.
coffee does. Coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very, our whole story has felt very serendipitous, and I wanted to write a song about serendipity, and what better location than our favorite country, our favorite place to visit,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
you've been
Japan, and
to
we've been there
Kyoto. How
many
is it?
times. It's amazing. We got engaged in Kyoto. We had our honeymoon in Japan. We've been there, I think, 16, between 16 and 18 times. I have to go back and recount, to Japan in general. So we love Japan, and I've picked up some Japanese along the way, which is why I'm singing in Japanese in the song.
Yeah.
But I hope to learn some more. I have a long way to go, but it's just a place that feels kind of like a second home at this point, and we can't wait to go and bring our baby to Japan,
Oh, that's
because
gonna
I
be
think that will
awesome.
be very full circle and really fun to be getting coffee at a coffee shop in Kyoto with our baby. Hopefully sometime this year.
Yeah, and in a broad sense, contribute more to that serendipity. And then what
Yeah.
I gather from when a good thing ends, it's not necessarily like a full-on ending, but I think it's just like when a good thing stops, like with when a good thing like is halted in its process, and it you describe like just how you feel like coming off that ride of just pure bliss, and you feel like dizziness afterwards, and like you said, white knuckles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a person who does not like the ending of anything, whether it's you know, a good movie coming to an end or a really special experience. Like when our wedding was over, I was sad that it was over because it was so much fun. It wasn't that it was a sad moment. It was just that I hated that it was over, and saying goodbye even to my grandparents when, we already got to have such an amazing time together, but saying goodbye is always so hard for me. So writing about that feeling, whether it's about things like that or grieving someone who actually has passed away, and that was one of the, main inspirations for the song, was saying goodbye to someone that we love. So, it's hard to close a chapter and it's hard to move on and know how to let go while also appreciating what was, but you can't move forward without leaving the past behind. And I've experienced a lot of different phases in my life so far, which is why my first EP was called Phases, because I was feeling like I was addressing so many different phases in my life. And I know that that will continue, of course, because the second you do something new, it all changes again. And I think that's a really beautiful part of life, but that's also something that you kind of have to get used to over and over again, especially if you're someone who doesn't like the feeling of anything ending. So that song is very close to home. And I'm really happy that it's on this EP because this whole EP really does cover, the early days of my relationship to serendipity and these amazing moments together to starting a family, but also learning how to move on and having those introspective moments where, maybe you question things or you're realizing that you have some bad habits that you need to fix along the way. I think that's all part of growth.
Yeah, and yeah, you definitely grown, and it's cool that it fits with the stuff you've done. Again, like the themes you explore on Inside a Dream and indeed Last Forever. It's all like whether intentionally or not, drawing allusions to each part of, your musical journey, whether it's Echosmith or Sydney solo.
Totally. And that's what happens when you write a lot of songs from the heart. You're going to have a lot of common themes and things that are reoccurring themes because you're still working through something that you're working through maybe 10 years ago. Unfortunately, maybe you've made some progress and maybe you haven't made as much as you thought. But music is an interesting marker in time where you get to see how much you've grown or how far you need to go. But I think it's cool to sort of see it as a journal entry documenting where you're at in that time and what you were thinking about, what you were feeling. And when I listen to a song that I wrote 10 years ago or even 2 years ago, it kind of takes me back to that place, just like looking at an old picture. And I think that's really cool, selfishly for me, to have that documented like that. And that's why putting out an album or an EP right before this baby comes and documenting my pregnancy through a project that has visuals and has all these fun photo shoots that we did showing my bump and making the music and all that stuff. It's really cool for me because it feels like I'm just sort of making a home video or something that I get to look back on later and reminisce on my first pregnancy.
Yeah, well, and it's cool too. I mean, you mentioned being selfish. I mean, there's a bit of pride, but it's all positive because, on each of your individual playlists that you and your brothers have, you have Cool Kids on there. Like that is like your biggest Smith song by far. And like when it's gone like 100 times platinum in streaming, like of course, like you get numb to it, you get sick of it, but you have that as one of your favorite songs. That's like very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not sick of the song, if I'm honest. I think it feels like it's been revived so many times for me, and it feels like
Yeah.
it's getting revived every time we play it because you're playing it for someone new and the excitement around it never goes away. So it's something that, I know I'm going to be singing forever, and I'm not mad about that. There are other songs that maybe I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I want to sing that one forever, but this one I'm cool with, and I'll probably sing Bright forever as well, which I'm also okay with. So, I think we lucked out because some people have that happen with songs that they didn't really like that much. But that one's a fun song to play, and I'm excited to keep playing it as my life changes over the years.
Yeah, and it's a cool message. Like I kind of like relate to it in the sense that, when I first heard it, it was like, because all the cool kids, they seem to fit in, but I'm not part of that crowd, so I'm just gonna go my own way. And then when you revisit that song a year later, when you shoot the music video, it ties into that theme of like finding your own definition of what cool means.
Yeah, and I think that is the heart of the song deep down is that, you know, you don't need to strive to fit in to be cool. It really is just embracing who you are that does make you a cool person and make you someone that people want to be around. And that you're cool with being around. So it's definitely a deeper song than it feels like at first. But I think that's why it's reached so many people because it's really relatable and we all have things that we sometimes want to change about ourselves and we desire to be like someone else. And that is a very relatable feeling. And it's something that I think we're all trying to work on, not feeling as much and embracing who we are, because that does make life a lot more enjoyable when you can just be cool with who you are and live that out as opposed to just chasing something constantly.
Considering the career that you have thus far, going on 20 years, could you believe that? Like, what have you learned about yourself, not only as a musician, but as a person?
I mean, I've learned a lot. That's a hard question to answer. But I would say that generally I am still learning, but I've come a long way how to trust myself and, just have more confidence with where I'm going. And that is very much because of who I'm surrounded by. I have really amazing people in my life, my husband being the main one. Um, and I think it's really important to just really have those people building you up and you doing that for other people because, no matter what happens with life, whether something is going better than you expect or worse than you expect, or it's just this weird in between time, if you have confidence about your direction and where you're going and you're living your life in the moment, then it doesn't shake you as much if things are really incredible or really tough because life is full of up and downs and you need to kind of find that middle ground in your real life. And I think I've also learned a lot how important it is to just put my phone away because it's a huge part of what I do. I write songs on voice memos and on the notes app
Yeah.
and I'm on social media a lot and all that stuff. So it's been huge for me to just like put my phone away really intentionally and unplug. I do no social media Sundays. I've been doing that for a little while now. And I think it just helps to be present because that's something that I want more than anything is to just be here and now, no matter where that is. And even if it's a hard season, I think it's really important to be in that moment too, so you can properly work through it as opposed to just numbing yourself and avoiding things because it's really easy to do that. That's way easier. But I think life feels more fulfilling when you're actually living it.
Hmm. And lastly, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
I'm just really grateful to be here and I'm really grateful for all the support that I've felt from everyone as I've announced my pregnancy and announced the gender and just shared the little moments along the way. I feel really supported there. And, it was scary to share something so personal at first when we first shared the news, but I'm really grateful that I've been able to share music alongside of all this and felt so much love from it. So I'm just really grateful for everyone listening to my music and I can't wait for everyone to hear the EP. I think they're going to love it. And I think it's just the perfect send off into my maternity leave. And I'm excited to see what comes after, but more importantly, just getting to become a mom and experience this with everyone has been really, really special. So I'm very grateful for everyone listening.
Nice. If you drop a new solo material thing, or if Echosmith want to come on too, like
Yeah,
yeah, we can stay in touch. I mean,
for
I'm on
sure.
Facebook, Instagram, and I have my email. I mean, I guess he gave it to you, but definitely
Yeah,
let's stay in
perfect.
touch and yeah, we can do a follow up. I'm very like grateful that you came on and
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I appreciate the support with the music and promoting the EP. It's going to be really fun. So I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you after I have a baby, maybe.
Oh man, yeah, great to have you in
Alrighty.
my corner, and let's stay in touch, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Jake.